Hello and welcome everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my Dune Awakening content. So I'm so excited, folks, to be here with you today. It's finally the weekend. The work week is over. We get to go home and make some content, woohoo, about my favorite game, my passion, Dune Awakening. So I want to talk about something today, folks, that I see people talking about everywhere. Everywhere I look, I see the same stuff. It doesn't matter what Discord I'm on. It doesn't matter what YouTube video I'm watching. Everybody's asking the same questions. The same questions, for real. So one of the main questions that people are asking is, can I play Dune Awakening as a PVE minded player? Can I play Dune Awakening and focus on only PVE style content and not really engage in PvP? Because for a lot of people, PvP content is not what they're interested in. They're interested in PvE style combat. They're interested in safe gameplay. They're interested in not losing their resources and the things that they gather and not having their bases raided or destroyed or that kind of stuff. A lot of games in the past that we've played and adventured in that were considered survival MMOs like Ark, Conan PvP, Rust, things like that. Those are survival games, but those are more of a hardcore style of play, to where if you play on a PvP server in those games, you get the ability to lose everything always. If you played PvP in Ark, you know that every morning you would wake up and your base would be gone. It's just an eventuality. It happens every day. But this is a game that is designed around having both play styles and kind of having division in both play styles so that you can choose what you want to do. Okay, that is one thing that I want to get across to you guys as we talk about Dune and how you can play the game today, is you have choice. You can play how you want to play. Now, for somebody that's PVE minded, which means player versus environment, you're more interested in playing content that's generated as part of story quests, or going out and gathering resources, or doing crafting, or doing base building, or playing the market and doing things like that, or doing player versus environment PVE style quest combat to where you're fighting against AI controlled enemies in a planned story arc sequence type thing, or you're just interested in leveling and you just want to level your character by going through quest lines and by killing some AI enemies and doing things like that, and maybe getting experience from crafting or resource harvesting. And those are what you're interested in, and you really don't feel like you want to engage in PvP combat, you can still play this game, because at first, whenever you start the game, you're going to start with your little tutorial sequence where you wake up in a cave and you start to learn some mechanics of the game, like how to climb, what your little survivor backpack does, and how to do some initial crafting and things of that nature. But then the game's going to dump you into what's called the Haga Basin. The Haga Basin is the PVE map where you can play about 95-ish% of the content of that map is PVE only. Okay, there's only just a few certain situations on the Haga Basin map that are considered PvP zones, and those are centered around things like shipwrecks. There are little zones of content around shipwrecks in that map that when you get close to that zone and you enter into that little small area, a pop-up on your screen will pop up and alert you, hey, you're fixing to enter into a PvP enabled zone, and then you can choose whether to go and do that or not. Okay, so you have the option to leave it if you don't want to. So there's no real flagging in this game, you know, as you have seen in past games like New World and stuff like that, where you flag yourself to be able to partake in PvP combat or not. In this game, you just have to be mindful of what zone you're in, or what part of the map you're on. Okay, most of your PvP content is going to take part in a place called the Deep Desert, and if you don't want to, you don't even really have to go there. Yes, there are elite resources in the Deep Desert, and a lot of people were worried about that if they are trying to focus on a PVE style mindset of playing, because they're thinking to themselves, well, if I don't go into the Deep Desert, I'm not going to be able to get these key resources that I'm going to need for like later stages of crafting skill, or the better equipment. I won't get those drops, or the better schematics. I won't get those drops because I'm not there. Do not stress about this, okay? Do not beat yourself up over this, and do not even worry about it. And the reason why is because there's such a thing as the exchange on this game. One of the things that I like about this game, probably top 5 for me, honestly, because I'm a big economy nerd and I love economies, is what's called the CHOAM exchange. The CHOAM is just an acronym that stands for a spacing company that controls a lot of the production in the universe, and they facilitate a marketplace for players to sell everything in this game. So anything that you loot in this game, you can sell. And what that means is the players that are doing the PvP content and that are getting those resources that you really don't want in there to go in there and get, and those drops and those schematics, they're going to be listing them on the auction house and selling them. So what that means is the PvE only characters will still be able to buy those items and have everything that they need. Well, you say, well, how am I going to buy them if I don't get a lot of resources because I'm not going into that deep desert? Well, you don't have to go into the deep desert to get the resources to buy items. When you're on the Haga Basin map, you can farm for resources and you can sell those. You can do PvE content and loot crates and do loot chests during the content and get good drops and the currency of the realm called Solari. You can get those little currency with the little S on them. That's what you're going to use to buy things with. So you're going to be getting a lot of that from there. Honestly, you as a PvE player may get more currency from doing the PvE questing areas and stuff than the PvP players, because they're only going to get, you know, drops off players here and there of resources and currency, because you don't drop your gear in this game when you fall to PvP, only in one specific instance that's tied to a political system. But you as a PvE player may actually end up making more of the currency Solari than the PvP players, so you may be actually able to buy whatever you want. Now, you also as a PvE player will have access to hidden chests out in the world, in the map, and you will be able to get rare drops and rare schematics from those, and you can turn around and flip those on the auction house and make all the coin you need to be able to then turn around and buy that spice that you're not able to go harvest because you don't want to go in the deep desert. You can buy it off the marketplace. You can buy it off the exchange. So what I'm trying to get across to you is, if you're a PvE minded player and that's really your main focus, and you really don't have the desire for that player mono combat, you don't want to really do that. You just want to focus on yourself or possibly a guild of people that are only PvE minded. You can do that. The game has built choice into it, much more so than a lot of other games I've ever seen, because one of the reasons why you can do that is because the map that you're on, the Haga Basin, that's going to be where you put down your base, okay? That's going to be where you build your multiple base locations that you can build. I think at this time, the latest that I've heard, you can have 3 bases per player, per account. So I mean, you can put your base down in the Haga base and it cannot be raided by other players. And the only way that it would decay is if you don't regenerate your shield every 20 to 21 days. So as long as you play once every couple of weeks, you can keep your base indefinitely shielded and not have to worry about losing your valuables, losing your base, losing your storage, losing your resources, none of that. So therefore, the acquisition of wealth can be a thing for you as a PvE player, which will allow you to advance. You may actually be in kind of a better position than most other styles of play, because you're going to be focusing on the map where the majority of, well, just about all of the skill quest givers are. That's something else you have to kind of think about, because to advance and unlock all the different skills from the different archetypes, like the Trooper, the Mentat, the Bene Gesserit, all those, you have to actually, if you did not start with them because of the choice that you chose at character creation, you will have to go out into the world of the Haga Basin map and look for those quest givers, those secret locations where those people that are going to teach you planetology, people that are going to teach you the Bene Gesserit beliefs are, and they're going to have you do things for them and run around and do quests, and they're going to unlock these skills for you. You may actually be in a better position than a PvP player because they're focused on that combat with each other. They're not focused on leveling up their skills, you know, unless they spent a couple of weeks doing that prior to going to the PvP area. I mean, you're going to be somebody that's going to be focused on that map and is going to be looking for that content, uncovering every rock and every stone, opening every chest, finding every resource node, gathering every resource node in the area. I mean, you're going to be doing everything. You're going to have your little sand bike, and it's not going to be long before you have your ornithopter, and you can go to the, you know, the player hubs and hang out and dance and have a good time, play on the exchange, go back to your Haga Basin map, build your base, run around and meet new people that are on the map with you and kind of interact with them, set up some trading alliance or just some questing groups you can make up with the people you meet, or you can have your guild there and you can do all your guild play on that map. So what I'm trying to get across in this video is, yes, you can play this game as a PvE type player if that's all you want to focus on. A lot of the content creators that I've been watching, they've been trying to scare people. It seems like they've been telling you you're not ready and you're not going to survive this and PvP is going to wipe the floor with you. Well, the thing that they're not telling you is you don't even have to do that if you don't want to, because the developers of this game have designed so many ways that you can keep yourself entertained in other ways that are just as fulfilling, and especially fulfilling for a person that's PvE minded, than constantly sweating it out and being that tryhard that's trying to kill everybody. So I just wanted you to know this, because I don't want people to turn away from this game because of some content that they've seen that says you're not ready to get on, noob. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to know that you can play this game PvE, because I want to see people explore this game realm with me. I want the servers to be alive. I want there to be a huge player base. I want this game to do well and sell millions of copies so that Funcom can have the resources they need to keep developing it, because I'm telling you, the Dune lore is rich. The Dune lore has so many capabilities that if in the future Funcom keeps bringing in the resources, they can keep developing and adding new content for us. For crying out loud, they've already got 4 DLCs ready to go right now before the game even releases. What game does that? I don't know. But this game's developed in Unreal Engine 5, so it's beautiful. I mean, look at these graphics we're looking at right now. That's amazing looking, and that's what you're going to be seeing in game. So, I hope you've enjoyed this content. I hope it's given you, as a PvE player, the hope you needed to be able to feel good about going into the game and adventuring and knowing that you can set up your world for the next 10 years in this game, if that's what you choose to do. So, thank you for watching my content. I really appreciate you being here. If you've enjoyed this content, please think about subscribing and hitting that like notification so this can get blowed out to a wider audience. I want to reach more people and talk about Dune Awakening. Sing it from the rooftops because I love this game and I want to see it succeed. Think about hitting that bell so you get notified whenever I make new content so you won't miss anything I make. And I want you to know that I truly appreciate you watching my content. I know you had a million other things that you could have been doing today, but you chose to spend it with me, and I will not forget that. Look in the description of my video for a link to my Discord where we talk about Dune, and my guild, my personal guild, is forming up in there right now. We are looking good. So if you're interested in joining a well-rounded group that's taking into account all different kinds of play styles, come see me. I'll hook you up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a video coming soon about Dune Awakening. It's the weekend. I'm going to make more. You know it. Peace.